What up, everyone? This is Mr. Lord, Dr. Professor, Dark Joker, with another edition of When, Where, Pick, and Dare, where I pick games for the various games that are occurring tomorrow. Whether it's football, baseball, basketball, basically whatever games I want to pick, I will pick them. With all that being said, on with the video. College men's basketball. Arkansas Razorbacks versus Alabama Crimson Tide. Arkansas is a 33.9% chance to win, and Alabama has a 66.1% chance to win. This is at Alabama. So Arkansas is 20 in the nation, 19-6 record. Alabama's 25 in the nation, 18-7 record. For stats, Alabama has more points per game, points against. Arkansas is a higher field goal percentage. Bama has more rebounds per game. Arkansas has slightly more assists per game. Bama has slightly more blocks per game, and Arkansas has slightly more steals per game. These stats are pretty close, so I think home field advantage will be the big thing here. So I think Alabama will beat Arkansas tomorrow. BYU Cougars versus Arizona Wildcats. BYU is 18.3% chance to win, and Arizona has an 81.7% chance to win. This is at Arizona. BYU is 23 in the nation, 19-6 record. Arizona is 4 in the nation, 23-2 record. For stats, Arizona has more points per game. BYU has more points against. Arizona has a higher field goal percentage and has more rebounds per game, assists per game. BYU has slightly more blocks per game, and Arizona has slightly more steals per game. These stats are pretty close, so I think home field advantage is going to be a big thing here. So I think Arizona will beat BYU tomorrow. Kansas Jayhawks versus Oklahoma State Cowboys. Kansas has a 78% chance to win, and Oklahoma State has a 22% chance to win. This is at Oklahoma State. So Kansas is 8 in the nation, 19-6 record. Oklahoma State's unranked, 16-9 record. For stats, Oklahoma State has more points per game, points against. Field goal percentage is even. Kansas has more rebounds per game. Oklahoma State has slightly more assists per game. Kansas has more blocks per game. And Oklahoma State has more steals per game. The only stat that really is a big difference is the points against. So it's a 13.3 difference in favor of Kansas. The rest are pretty close. So despite the home field advantage that Oklahoma State has, I think with the points against difference, that leads to a big defensive gap there. So I think Kansas will beat Oklahoma State tomorrow. St. John's Red Storm versus Marquette Golden Eagles. St. John's has a 78.6% chance to win, and Marquette has a 21.4% chance to win. This is at Marquette. So St. John's is 17 nation, 20-5 record. Marquette's unranked, 9-17 record. So yeah, I don't know how in the world that spreads as low as it is. So for stats, St. John's has more points per game. Marquette has more points against. St. John's is a higher field goal percentage and has more rebounds per game, slightly more assists per game, more blocks per game, and Marquette has more steals per game. These stats are pretty close. So you would think home field advantage would be a big thing here, but these are Marquette, St. John's. I wouldn't necessarily call these big fan bases, so home field advantage probably won't matter here. So seeing St. John's though is 17 for a reason, so their ranking is the only big thing. And Marquette's a loser record. So with all the information I have, I will say St. John's will beat Marquette tomorrow. Vanderbilt Commodores versus Missouri Tigers. Vandy is a 64.8% chance to win, and Mizzou has a 35.2% chance to win. This is at Mizzou. So Vandy is 19 in nation, 21-4 record. Mizzou is unranked, 17-8 record. For stats, Vandy has more points per game. Mizzou has slightly more points against, and has slightly higher field goal percentage, and slightly more rebounds per game. Vandy has more assists per game, blocks per game, and steals per game. These stats are pretty close, so I think home field advantage is going to be a big thing here. So I think Missouri will beat Vanderbilt tomorrow. Illinois fighting Illini versus USC Trojans. Illinois has a 76.9% chance to win, and USC is a 23.1% chance to win. This is at USC, so Illinois is 10 in nation, 21-5 record. USC is unranked, 18-7 record. For stats. Illinois has more points per game. USC has more points against. Field goal percentage is even. Illinois has more rebounds per game. USC has slightly more assists per game, blocks per game, and has more steals per game. These stats are pretty close, so I think home field advantage is going to be a big thing here. So I think USC will beat Illinois tomorrow. College women's basketball. Baylor Bears versus Texas Tech Red Raiders. Baylor's a 51.3% chance to win. Texas Tech has a 48.7% chance to win. This is at Texas Tech, so Baylor's 15 nation, 22-5 record. Texas Tech is 20 nation, 23-4 record. For stats, Texas Tech has slightly more points per game. Baylor has more points against. Texas Tech has a slightly higher field goal percentage. Baylor has more rebounds per game and slightly more assists per game and blocks per game. And Texas Tech has more steals per game. These stats are pretty close, so I think home field advantage is going to be a big thing here. So I think Texas Tech will beat Baylor tomorrow. Ohio State Buckeyes versus Minnesota Gophers. Ohio State has a 31% chance to win, and Minnesota has a 69% chance to win. This is at Minnesota. Ohio State is 10 nation, 22-4 record. Minnesota is 23 nation, 20-6 record. For stats, Ohio State has more points per game, points against. Field goal percentage is even. Minnesota has more rebounds per game. Ohio State has more assists per game, blocks per game, and steals per game. These stats are pretty close, so I think home field advantage is going to be a big thing here. So I think Minnesota will beat Ohio State tomorrow. And that's it for picks. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening to my picks. Do you agree with them? Do you not? If you have different picks, you can put them in the comments. But other than that, please like, subscribe, and all that. Thank you for listening, and look forward to the next video.